there's no question the pandemic was tough for the travel industry. Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb, told me it felt like being hit by a giant torpedo. How did it feel for you?
Oh, I think first off, thank you for having me here. But the feeling was close, if not exactly the same. It was, I'd probably say, a cyclone, given in our part of the world, there are quite a few cyclones. But hey, I think our company was growing triple-digit percentages for 2 years. And then our numbers dropped by 66% in gross margin, more than 66% in a period of 30 days. So it felt like we built something for 6-7 years, and it took 30 days for that to drop by 66%. So it took a little bit of time to get your head together, but at the same time, I think credit to our team. I think the crisis playbook is always the same. It's cash, cost, and innovation, and I think we really have pushed the lever on innovation quite a bit over the last year.
Meantime, obviously, vaccines are now available, but not to everyone. India itself has been struggling with variants of COVID-19. What sort of travel trends are you seeing now?
So I think, Emily, first off, I think around the world, there's a big transition that we're seeing is that anywhere where there is more than 40% first jab of vaccination, we have seen travel bookings rapidly accelerate. And that's the case around the world. We are lucky to see this in all the countries that we serve around the world. We are market leading in India, Southeast Asia, and Europe. So I can share trends for these markets more specifically. I think what we're seeing is in Europe, the European summer is looking very good. Even though there is a slight rise in cases, we are seeing that European travel is looking very strong. India went through a temporary challenge due to the phase 2 of the wave 2 of the virus, but our transactions are back up to the pre-wave 2 levels, and we are seeing now slow but steady climb. And of course, US is ahead of pre-COVID levels. We had one of the best Memorial Day weekends earlier this month back. And of course, around the world, wherever vaccination rates reach 40% plus, we're seeing the trend. India is now at 20% plus in first jab rate, but India has been doing vaccinations of anywhere between 5 to 10 million people a day. So fingers crossed, and we'll hopefully have more vaccination rates in times to come. And we're innovating by trying to have vaccinate tags in hotels where the entire staff is vaccinated.
Now, as I understand it, you had to do some layoffs, you pulled out of some geographies, you changed your business model. Some of your partners, your hospitality partners, hotels, weren't happy with that. Where do the business fundamentals stand now, and where do those relationships stand now, given that's so critical to your business?
Absolutely, Emily. I think, like I mentioned earlier, COVID, frankly, while brought some pain, but also those challenges allowed us to innovate and make changes that were very critical to the company. So for instance, to begin with, we tried and invested in terms of making sure that we looked at what really works for our business, for our customers and our owners, and what are they happy about and what can we improve. We saw that our owners liked our 2 core softwares, our OS and OYO. We said, this is the only business we will run with our merchants. We will serve these softwares and charge a fee against it. And today, over 100,000 merchants use it. There were some feedbacks that we received from them on pricing, reconciliation, and various areas. I have personally, over the last year, been spending 70% of my time in product and engineering and just trying to make sure that we're constantly innovating and staying ahead of the game and bringing great product experiences. I run weekly town halls with our owners. Sorry, Emily, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask about the finances, because this proposed issuance for $600 million, it was oversubscribed. You're looking to refinance existing debt. Many people think it looks like what sort of the moves Grab made before they SPAC'd, some of the moves Airbnb made before they go public. Is this a precursor to some sort of go public event?
So both the companies you mentioned, we are lucky to have them as our partners and shareholders, and have always been inspired by their progress over the last year. I think, Emily, of course, clearly we see this as a very critical point in our company's journey, because it is important for us from 3 things. The first is it widens our shareholder base beyond, of course, some fantastic shareholders. We have Sequoia, Lightspeed, SoftBank, Airbnb, DiDi, Grab, all great investors. it brings a new set of capital providers, around the company and widens the capital holders base. I think the second thing is that we are probably the first Indian company not just to raise a TLB, but also be able to get rated. So I think it sets the validation of a company that has been rated by Moody's, Fitch, and various well-known agencies. And the third is, the response we got is very, important validation of our, performance. We went to the market for 600 million. We got an order book of close to $1 billion. We have now we upsized the deal to $660 million. So we are announcing the raise of 660 instead of 600. And we also, of course, tightened the terms of the transaction. So it clearly is a very important milestone. But on the other hand, from a public company perspective, Emily, I think we have, for the recent couple of quarters, we've started operating like a public company with a board which is primarily independent and non-executive. Company issues guidances, delivers, and then issues a further forecasts. So really, we are already operating like a public company. When we go public is then, of course, up to the board.
So the company was, I believe, before the pandemic, valued in the area of $10 billion. Where's that at now?
I think, Emily, will leave that to the public investors to decide where the company is. My job is to put my heads down, serve our customers and merchants right.
Okay, I had to try. So give us the one-year outlook. 1 year, hopefully more people are vaccinated. Hopefully more travel is happening. What does that look like for OYO?
So I think both for OYO and the travel industry, Emily, I think things are never going back to what it was earlier. Our customers and merchants are actively transitioning. 70% plus of our merchants today, Emily, have never ever used any online source for getting demand. Now with OYO, on an average, they receive 80 to 90% demand from online. That's changing. So we feel that the advent of online from a merchant perspective will be huge. And from the customer perspective, staycations, long-term vacations, holiday homes versus hotels. Big hotels will not be in vogue. Small holiday homes will be in vogue. And of course, value will be in the game. So I think a combination of these trends are what we are noticing coming up into the future. And, we are innovating and bringing the best features and announcing them consistently to make sure that we are leading the path rather than standing behind. And on the employee side, we are also making changes. As we saw people having substantial overwhelming periods in countries where the cases went up, we moved to 4 days work in places where it was needed. We're trying to make changes in terms of how we collaborate online. So I think fundamentally, the world is going to be a very different place, and we are hoping to lead some of the trends like staycation, small hotels, online, value, and things like those.